We are more than careers. We are we are more than careers.
Hey everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to We Are More Than Just Careers.
What's
We are
up?
back.
How you feeling today?
So I'm so excited to be able to talk to these two wonderful people who are part of our career center. Who are they, Eric?
They are Laura and Leandra. Leandra is the mother of somebody serving in the military, and Laura is our veteran. And shout out to Tammy, she's a veteran too. So I love that dynamic in our office.
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
It's so great to be able to get their perspective of someone who's been in the military themselves, but then also someone who's a family member and who's been impacted by it. And they both talk about the experiences of being in the military, but then also how it's impacted themselves and their families personally and professionally. So I've learned so much from them.
There's some really good stuff in this interview. So without further ado, we can turn it to We Are
More Than Just Careers. All right, well, welcome to We Are More Than Careers today. We have some amazing folks, and we're going to talk a little bit about being connected to the military and also being a veteran. So we have Laura and Leandra here, and we're going to drill them with some questions.
Drill them with some questions.
Yeah,
Are y'all
drill
ready?
instructor, yes.
Are y'all ready
Yes.
for this?
We're ready.
Well, first, just introduce yourselves, your names, and then your role in the Career Center. We'll start with that, easy one.
All right. So my name is Laura Garza. I'm currently a career coach out at Discovery Park, College of Engineering, College of Information.
I'm Leandra Dinacola. I'm the Student Employment Coordinator here at the Career Center. All things on-campus job related is me.
Yes, you know all things.
All the things. I'll be always be like, hey, have y'all talked to Leandra? Every time they be like, all right, student or applying on campus and stuff, be like, have y'all talked to Leandra? She's amazing. I'm boosting you up. They're like, oh yeah. Then I had one student that came back and was like, man, she was amazing. I told you. And Laura, I heard some students kind of reference you too.
That was good.
It was all good.
I don't-
Not cursing.
I don't know. It was great.
Everyone loves
It was
Laura.
great.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Laura.
They come back and bring her treats.
I know. I'm like,
It's,
Cookies,
yes.
figs. Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
That's how you know you're doing a good job.
yeah. Look, I like how Laura posed. She kind of posed like this. She's like, my name is
Alright.
Laura.
You're fine. I'll cross everything.
My name is Laura.
I
So,
like
Throw something.
Like, yeah.
so tell us about your connection to the military. What is your connection?
My connection is, of course, my husband was Navy, my dad was Navy, brother-in-law was Air Force, the other brother-in-law was Marines. But that was before, I didn't live with it.
Mhm.
But my son is active Air Force. And I've learned how to be a mama bear within the Air Force moms.
So my dad was Navy. My mom was actually in the Army for a couple of years. My younger brother was a Marine, always a Marine. My sister was actually not in the military, but she was a police officer. And then I went in the Air Force like right after high school. So I spent 15 years active duty, 6 in the reserve, and then another 15 years as a military civilian.
Ooh, I think this is gonna be a cool conversation. Because you see the dynamic. Leandra, she's a mother of someone that's actively serving. And Laura, she's actively serving. Or she actively served in the military. So we get two different interesting perspectives, like being in it and being out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious, like, just why the military? Like, why did you choose the military as an option?
So I was really familiar with it because of my dad. And I thought the Air Force sounded really neat. I was like 17 when I signed up. I guess it was, watching TV and wanting to do something really adventurous, and that definitely was it. That's an adventure.
And then, Leandra, I'm like, why not? Because you had a whole lot of people around you that was military.
Well, 3 months before graduation, we are thinking he is going to Tarleton State. We're thinking he's playing baseball. 3 months before graduation, he comes to us and says, Mom, Dad, I'm joining the Air Force. And I went, seriously? I'm not ready for baseball to be over with yet.
Yeah.
And then it was like, if this is what you really want to do, and it was either Army or Air Force. And he just went, his ROTC, junior ROTC instructor had said, I know you can hit anything you aim, target practice and stuff. And he goes, you're much better suited to the Air Force. So, and it was just like, okay, that's it.
So you said you wanted them to stick with baseball. Right?
Yeah, I wanted baseball. I wasn't ready for my baseball years to be over. And it was just like, okay, we're going to the Air Force.
Yeah.
But that was an experience.
Yeah.
Going,
I heard you a Kansas City Royals fan.
no.
Was that
I'm
meant
from
a joke?
Kansas City. I forget. You ain't no Kansas City Royals?
No.
You okay?
Pittsburgh,
Ah,
baby.
okay.
Pittsburgh.
All right. Cool.
How long has your son been in the military then?
Okay, he, 4 years, extended by 1, re-upped. He's in his 7th year right now. And he is, he was a staff sergeant for the C-130 plane, and then now he is going to be a tech instructor, and he starts August, and he will be much closer to home. So
how has this last 7 years impacted your life?
I've had to learn that, I have to wait. Family is on the back burner. He's so far away. It's not like you can just hop in there for a couple of hours and you'll be there. And then, he's has to be on alert. Sometimes Uncle Sam is first. And it's just like, what we want is secondary. What he wants is almost secondary. It's whatever Uncle Sam says, that's what you do.
So Laura, for you and your time in the Air Force and just being connected to the military in general, for most of your life, what has been the best part of that experience and that connection for you, and the most difficult?
So I think, so I got to live overseas and I love to travel. So I think that was part of the best experience is living in a different culture. And then once I was there, I got to travel even more in that region. I live in Germany, I live in England, I live in Iceland for a year. I got to deploy to the Middle East, other places in Europe, parts of Africa. So I think living abroad and that traveling part, I think was the best part, but sometimes that can be the hardest part as well. Is adjusting, not knowing the language, difficulty being away. So, but I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Just as an aside, if you had to recommend a place for someone to travel to, you had to pick one.
Europe.
Within Europe.
Europe.
Just the whole thing?
Yeah, the whole thing. One big area. I like anything in the Med, so Spain, Italy, Portugal. Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
That's one thing that I like about, because I even considered going into the military, and it was like, why do I want to go into the military? Because I get a chance to travel and see the world. And I think, that is an advantage. It's a competitive advantage whenever you are growing, because now you become more adaptable, you become flexible, you become more knowledgeable. And, I just wanted to point that out, maybe reflect on that and be like, man, she's been to all of these places. You said that was one of the biggest challenges, but, we dealt with a pandemic, and that changed a whole lot of people's lives. And I could be safe to say that, I feel like the people that adjusted well was the people that have been in the military, that knows change is constantly coming. know, so I just wanted to kind of point that out.
And I think the exposure to all these different cultures helps me with advising students as well.
That's what I was
So familiar with their culture, their religion, their kind of whatever mindset they walk in with, so that really helps.
Yeah.
getting.
So I'm glad for that.
And going off of that, Eric, a little bit, like what, I'll start with you, Laura, and then I'll rephrase the question for Leandra, but what is something that you've learned or a skill that you've gained that you don't think you would have if you didn't go into the military?
It's the resiliency. It's just like Eric was pointing to. You know, maybe things aren't going so well, but you know that's just one day or a short amount of time, and it's going to change over time. It's gonna get better. It's not all doom and gloom. So I think the resiliency part is something that the military definitely wants every member to focus on, because we need that. We never know what's going to happen the next day or the next month. So I think that's something I really appreciate. So.
And I got a two-parter for that for you, Leandra.
Okay.
How have you seen, or what have you seen your son learn, and how has he grown since his time in the military?
Oh gosh, I mean, decisive. Become more decisive. He set a plan and achieve his goals, because he did Airman Leadership School. He kept staff sergeant. He's going the steps he needs to make. Now he's going to become a tech instructor. And he's gotten to move around a little bit. He's gotten to go to other countries, doing a wing swap or doing a deployment. A wing swap is pretty fast turnaround, but you get to stop at different places. And he's learned how to hurry up and wait, be ready at all times for whatever. But yeah, he's learned how to make a plan, to think into the future, what he's wanting to do. It looks like he's making this his career so far. Might do his 20 and then retire. I don't know, but it's kind of looking that way right now.
Ew, what is a wing swap? Is that what you said?
No, a wing swap.
Wing swap.
You're taking new plane out and bringing the old plane back.
Okay, got it.
That's what a wing swap is.
Thank you for that. And so for you, what's something that you've learned from either your son or his time in the military?
Patience. Oh my word, the patience. Yeah. And basically, if I wanted to spend the holidays with my son, it may not happen on the holiday, but then we are together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the pandemic made that very hard. Nobody could leave the base. I mean, so we just, a lot of Zoom, phone calls. And everybody was like, feel like we were just losing our minds. Because, we want to see our airmen. We want to see, and we've made friends. His friends have become our family. So from tech school, and we still keep in touch with them. And it's like when we go from up north or the East Coast, where they are at, we just send them a text, say, hey, we're coming into town, and we will meet up with them for a couple of hours. So you become a family.
And I think you made a good point. Like, I think we living in a fast-paced world where we don't really appreciate the moment. And whenever you do get those moments, like the moment now, where we can not working, we can sit down and have a conversation about things outside of careers. We have to appreciate those moments, like you said, just with your son. Like, I might not have him on this day, but when I do have him, he gonna know that I love him. He gonna know that I leave. He's my airman. I love how you said it.
My airman.
He's my airman. So I'm just curious, like, because I want to flip this on his head, because with veterans, there is just kind of a talking point of mental health, trauma, things that you kind of deal with. Maybe y'all can talk to that. However, if something y'all notice, if it's something that y'all experience, what does that look like in y'all world? Just going through that experience. Because we deal with that's real. Like, I've got family that dealt with trauma. Like, that's real. So
It is.
it's just something I just want to talk to that. Just address that for a minute before we move on to something.
Something a little lighter.
A little lighter.
I know, so I spent my time mostly in intelligence, but 9 of those years I spent with federal law enforcement. So there's definitely a lot of trauma going on, especially when you're deployed to Europe. You see a lot of events going on worldwide. I mean, it's the usual, a lot of criminal cases, a lot of interesting cases that for whatever reason are upsetting, very traumatic, and it not only takes a real toll on the agents or anybody that knows about it, but the military community. So when you're overseas, you really got to stick together. It really is like a family. Everybody's taking care of each other, and that's how you get through those traumatic, whether it's world events or something going on base. So that's how it works. So military does a really good job with that.
Yeah, they do. During the pandemic, someone in his unit tried to take their own life. And then they just basically immediately took the entire unit and started talking to them and say, if you're feeling whatever, overwhelmed, talk to us. And it's just like, don't bottle it up. And it's just like, when, they can't always tell us where they're being deployed to. It is somewhere. And we will be back sometime. And that's all we get to know. But he gets to talk to his dad. His dad was military, so he talks to his dad a lot if, something is really bothering him.
Man, there's healing in conversation, and there's healing with talking out feelings and emotions. And I know we sometimes are trained not to be able to express those emotions. It's hard because we don't want to get judged. We don't want to, be vulnerable or put ourselves out there. So we harbor in all of these feelings and have to deal with it ourselves. So I like the fact that, from y'all perspective, the military is surrounding, the people that contribute to it. It's surrounding them and protecting them and trying to be that place where they can find refuge and try to heal through that trauma. I just want to take that time and acknowledge that, because that is real. So thank y'all for sharing.
Sure.
And I think it speaks to the community
Yeah.
that is military. I don't know how you'll feel when you meet other family members of military folks or other people who've been in the military. Do you feel that kind of immediate sense of connection?
Yeah, I belong to Air Force Moms. And it's just like, we are online, and it's, by invitation only. So, not anybody can just pop in there. You are vetted, and that way then we talk about how we feel. We don't have our babies with us anymore, or our babies are fixing to be deployed. The big D is what we call it, and then, or they're fixing to go to basic. We support each other.
That's good.
I know sometimes when I will have a student appointment and they're a vet, sometimes they won't say it for a while, or sometimes they won't say it at all. But when they do, I feel like, hey, we have a common language. So there's that common lingo. So that's always good to discover that.
Yeah.
You understand the experiences a little bit better.
Yep.
Yeah. So, for you, Laura, what has it been like, or what was it like, getting a job outside of the military?
You know what? It was actually really stressful.
Huh?
Because it's such a different environment that I didn't realize. We usually call it the outside world or the civilian world, and it's very different. In the civilian world, you got to go chase down your next job, your next career, and that was very, very strange to me. So it took me a while. I had to work on my mindset that, I have all this experience from the military. I'm trying to get a job in the civilian world. That Oh yeah, I shouldn't have any problem, but yeah, it took a
Mhm.
while. And it's taken, I've been out almost like 3 years, so it's taken a little while to adjust, but after that maybe the first year, I was like, okay, I'm starting to settle in, but it was stressful because the environments are so different.
For students who are veterans and are trying to find work, how do you talk to them about how their skills from the military are transferable to other walks or other jobs and careers?
So there's definitely that conversation. It's change the lingo. You know, you'll have some very military specific terms like on their resume, and even their mindset. I was an NCO. I should have an equal ranking job in the civilian world. That doesn't always work out. But changing that lingo on that resume and converting it to civilian ease is probably something that I always talk with the veterans about.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Bars.
I'm gonna
I like
remember
that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I've heard
Thank you.
that before. But it's true. It's a totally different
It
language.
is. I was looking at a resume, a veteran's
Mhm.
resume. I was like,
What is this?
all right, can you read this to me? Because I don't know what this is
Yeah.
and who this is and what ranking is this. But it would look nice. Like every resume, every Army or veteran's resume, it's always polished, it's clean, it's nice, like as far as the aesthetic, but the verbiage. I was
You
like,
don't know what it
"Ooh, I don't
means."
know what that-
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
You gotta explain it
So-
to me like I don't know anything. I'm a kid.
So I'm like, I would give them like, I want to put a dot right here. I've been trying to give them like simple things that I know, like make sure that you put your name at the top. You need to bold that. He's like, oh, yeah, I think you need to give me a little bit more feedback on that. But I really love the veterans because they are organized. They are very, very just professional. And I really, really appreciate that. And I was like, I'll point that out. So it's dope. Yeah. So
You
I'm
know,
glad that we got a veteran. So now, Leandra, you ain't gonna be the only one.
Yeah.
When I get a veteran, I'm like, ooh, I know somebody. I know somebody. I'm about to refer
Maybe I
you.
shouldn't have told him more.
I know somebody that can help you.
I think she's on vacation that day.
No, it ain't no
She's right
vacation.
here.
It was like she turned on Tuesday, so
Yeah.
go to Navigate, find her neck. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, you got the veterans office right down the hall.
Yes,
too.
yes,
That's
yeah,
a
that's
great,
true.
that's a great
That's true.
Mhm.
place to
Great
go for
resource.
resources.
That is true. Yeah.
Leandra, how has your son navigated the changes in his career within the military?
Actually, pretty well. I mean, you know, he put in, you know, he was kind of mad. He did not get tech instructor when he wanted it, but his buddy was going there, and he's going, but I wanted it. And I said, no, he got selected first. So,
Yeah.
and now he's following his buddy who will be there. I mean, his friends, some of them are like, they're in England. Ryan, I follow on social media. He's been to Hawaii, Germany, you name it, that kid has been there. And it's like, but Tony doesn't really want to go all over the place, but he goes, I want to go someplace. But he's happy the way it's going.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it just is what it is. You didn't get your application in first. That's all.
That's real.
Do better
That's
next
mama
time.
bet.
But
Mama
he
bear
got
said-
there.
Yeah. So what do y'all like about being in y'all position right now, being in the career center? What do y'all like most about it?
Chatting with students, getting to know them,
Yeah.
watching them progress in their career, get smarter, career smarter.
Ooh.
And then once they get that job, it's like,
Yeah.
they're leaving the nest.
Mm.
It's nice. It's good to see.
I like this. She said career smarter.
I like
career
I'm using
intelligence.
That.
Yeah.
Emotional
Oh,
intelligence. Ooh.
That'll
See,
work.
mine's a little bit different.
I like
I deal
that,
with
career
on-campus jobs with
Mhm.
students that are looking for a job on campus.
Mhm.
I can't guarantee a job or promise a job, but what I do is I will find out what the student's like, and I'm looking at their resume. Okay, this student is majoring in computer science,
Yeah.
but he's wanting a job in the hospitality. You know which one I'm talking about. I was like, that's not really a good fit for you.
Yeah.
I said, let's try, something,
IT or something
Yeah.
related.
IT
Yeah.
related. And it's like, I'll look at the jobs and I'm saying, what I want you to do is give me your top 6 that you really want. I said, you can apply to 50 jobs in a day, but what are the top 6 you really want? Then what I'm doing is I'm emailing my contact. I have a contact in every department, every college throughout UNT world. And all I do is just say, hey, would you please do a courtesy review? And when I really like it is when those students email me back or I see their names come across as hired. I'm gonna say,
Freedom one. Somebody sends students to me and thinks that I have contacts all over. I'm like, oh, no idea about it. I'm gonna send it back.
That's it.
I'm gonna send it back.
It's
Okay.
like the other ones,
Clearing up a lot of things.
when the
Have
students,
we had this conversation?
our students that are in the career center, it's like we see them on the front desk, then they move up, then they go to ambassador, and then, they either go to another job on campus or they graduate. And it's just like, that's my world. We teach them up and then they fly the nest. And it's like, sometimes I really wish they wouldn't leave me.
Mama bear.
Yeah, Mama Bear sad. But this is what we do,
Yeah.
teach them up and then out they go.
Watch
It
them
means that
fly.
you're good at your job and you care.
Yeah, I care.
Yeah.
Sometimes I care too much,
Wow, that's cool.
It just makes me realize too, like how important we talk about networking, but how important connections are in any job. I'm sure it's the same in the military as well. Just important to make and build connections and utilize those and keep those up and not let them go to the wayside.
Yeah, well, Tony's, his connections are, it's just like, he just found out that his old tech sergeant is going to Clovis and he's going, to where the tech school is at. So they're switching. So I'm just going, he goes missing him by 2 months.
Chasing them. So I keep up with quite a few of contacts I have in the military, and some of them are starting to retire. So they're like, hey, I'm looking for a job in the outside world. So I'm like, hey, I think I may have some information for you that might be really helpful. So just like you said, the contacts, the connections, that's invaluable. You have to have them.
So I have a couple more questions. I think we can wrap up then. What do you think, Eric?
Oh,
So what is something you want other people to know about the military? Or multiple things.
It really is an adventure. If you want to broaden your world, travel, and see places that you never thought existed, go for the military.
Exactly, yeah.
And don't worry about getting up early.
You get used to it.
You do. But I have no regrets. I wouldn't have changed anything. I think I took the path that it worked out. I wouldn't have changed a thing. So it was fun, but they gotta be ready for an adventure, because you never know what's gonna come down the road. So
man, Laura got that audible voice, the audio voice.
She
Like you could
does.
just kind of
Listen to
close
her
your eyes and
forever.
listen. I'm like, man, I want to take an adventure.
no, that's what students, they're like, they hear me ramble on and they're like, what?
You got that old audio. I love it.
How about you, Leandra? What is something you want other people to know about the military?
What Laura said.
Yeah.
If it's an adventure, Tony has finally learned how to, he was not a morning person. He was like me, total grump. And it's just like he's learned. So when he comes home, it's like 4:30, 5 a.m. and he goes, man, I really want the swing shift. And I'm just going, you'll get it eventually. You will get it.
Put in the time.
Yep.
I've got one more. Do you have
Okay.
one more? If somebody were to say the word military, what's just one word that comes to mind when I say military? Or two.
It's not so much a word, it's an image. And it's an airman in their dress blues at attention. I mean, that's just what I see.
Yeah,
Adventure. Whatever that means. Different to everybody,
That's true.
Right.
right? Some people think getting up 3 o'clock in the morning is not an adventure, but you'd be surprised what it can lead to.
Mhm.
So those are little things, you know, that you can manage, but the payoff is very good.
Yes.
Adventure.
Perfect.
I got one.
Yeah, go for
A
it.
word or a phrase.
Oh, you have a word. Okay, perfect.
We are more than just careers.
Of course.
I didn't hear that.
You just
What?
snuck that in.
We are more than just careers.
We are.
That when I think about veterans, I think about Miss Laura, I think about Leandra, I even think about Miss Tammy, because she's
Yes.
I have to honor her. She's also a veteran too. But it also shows that we all work in the career center, and we are more than just careers. And I thank y'all today for coming out with your audible voice, and Mama Bear, and of course my colleague Sarah. You know how we got to end.
Oh yeah.
You know how we are. Y'all ready for this?
I'm ready.
Oh,
Hit
I
me.
think I'm ready.
Laura's ready.
Boo 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 got to do to do.
We are.
Boo do do got to do to do. Do 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 got to do to do.
We are more
than careers.